Hey everyone, welcome to Daily Revelations. Thanks for joining me, and we're going on this journey. We started Judges yesterday. We're finishing it today. It's a quick dive through Judges, but Judges is, well, we can sum it up by what Judges 2 starts with, and then at the end what Judges 21-25 tells us throughout. There's a couple other passages I'll bring you through, but the summation is that people are wishy-washy, and if we aren't grounded in something that anchors us and sustains us, we just go with wherever it takes us. And so the thing that it says in Judges, and then it said that they had a judge who was basically kind of like a king, but not really. It was the person appointed by God. And when that person was convicting their hearts of truth, they lived more righteously. Yet when that person was gone, or died, then they went back to their old ways. And then when another judge came in, they convicted them, they felt bad. And so they went back to doing what was right. But yet when they were left on their own and that person went away, they went back to doing what was wrong. And it was this constant cycle. This is what Judges tells us. It tells us basically what human nature does. And twice at the end of Judges, first of all, it states there was no king. So there was no person that was put up in front of everybody to say, this is the way that we are to live. This is the example to follow. And so every man did what was right in his own eyes. And that says it in Judges 17:6. It says it again in Judges 21:25. And so that is the actual last verse in Judges. And it shows that just our human nature is not something to be trusted in. We're so worried about false news, but the problem is the news is just the product of where truth does not exist. And we go through these wishy-washy, I think this is right, somebody else thinks this is right, which is true. Well, you have to have a baseline of truth. And when you have a baseline of truth, then you don't sway back and forth and fight over what is true and what is not. And Proverbs 14:12 says this: there is a way that seems right to man, but its end is a way of death. The bad thing on top of that is we always choose wrong if we're left to our own devices, because things that come into our decision making does it make me comfortable? Do I really want to do that? In the light of how things look from my perspective, is this the right thing to do? Oftentimes when we follow God, it isn't the thing that we want to do at all. And we just have to do it because it's what's right. It's what's true. It's what's holy. It is counter to our human sinful nature, which oftentimes we want to base truth upon. But that is sinking sand, is what the Bible tells us. And it's going to get us in a big mess. So anyways, that's just a little bit of takeaway from Judges, and why we need to have a plumb line. In the book Experiencing God, Henry Blackaby talks about how if you have ever laid wallpaper, you have to have a plumb line, which basically shows you where the exact line is with gravity straight down, which your wall might be askew, but gravity is never off. Again, just like truth, God's truth is never off. So we may have a crooked house we live in, but if we have that plumb line that we're always coming back to, the wallpaper will be laid straight and our life will be laid straight as well. So going back and seeking truth and measuring up. Does my life measure up? And being consistent about that is rooted in the way to combat our nature. And when we have the Holy Spirit living in us, he's doing that all the time. But we have to listen to him, and we have to then follow what he tells us to do instead of saying, no, I think my way is right instead. So instead of living by false truth, We have to live in the real truth. And sometimes that's hard. It means that the things that we do are not going to be easy. But that's not what we're promised here, is for life to be easy. It's to be about God and about following him and making our life a testimony for him. And Jesus said we're going to have tribulations, and but be encouraged. I have overcome the world. And in the process of following him, we will too. And that's the best news ever, isn't it? Many people may call that false news, but we know it's true. So anyways, have a blessed day, everybody. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Okay.